Pamela Hartford's life began in the warmth of luxury and privilege, surrounded by the love and protection of her wealthy family. As the beloved only child of a powerful industrial magnate, her days were filled with joy, excitement, and boundless opportunities. But everything changed on a tragic autumn morning when a single phone call shattered her world. In an instant, Pamela's life was turned upside down as she faced the unbearable loss of her parents and the overwhelming responsibility of a vast business empire. Yet, amid the grief and uncertainty, a spark of hope emerged, leading her on a journey of resilience and growth. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Pamela Hartford's childhood was a veritable portrait of unbridled opulence, enveloped in the extraordinary luxury and unmatched privilege that flowed effortlessly from her family's immense wealth. Her father, Richard Hartford, was not merely a business magnate but a towering figure in the world of industry, his name reverberating with reverence and admiration across the most elite and influential circles of commerce. As the sole offspring of this illustrious dynasty, Pamela was the singular focus of her parents' boundless love and attention, lavished with every conceivable opportunity and comfort that their vast fortune could provide. From her earliest memories, Pamela was ensconced in a life of spectacular excess. Her bedroom was akin to a grandiose wing of a palace, resplendent with an array of toys collected from every corner of the globe, custom-made dresses that spoke of high fashion, and treasured first editions of classic children's literature, each book bound in luxurious leather. "Darling, what extravagant experience would you like to have for your birthday this year? Perhaps a grand celebration at Disney with all its magical allure, or would a private, exclusive tour of Paris be more to your liking?" Her mother would inquire with genuine warmth and an unwavering readiness to grant any wish. Richard, in contrast, approached the matter of Pamela's future with a more serious and deliberate tone, frequently imparting wisdom about the irreplaceable value of knowledge. "Pamela, my little princess, remember always that knowledge is a treasure no one can ever strip away from you," he would affirm during their sumptuous family dinners, served on a table so expansive it could easily accommodate a dozen guests, reflecting the magnitude of their social standing. Such was the environment in which Pamela was nurtured, leading her to attend the most prestigious private schools, where renowned educators were almost summoned from far and wide to offer a bespoke education tailored specifically to her inquisitive nature and exceptional capabilities. While her contemporaries might have delighted in the thrill of amusement parks during their vacations, Pamela's holidays were a realm of intellectual and cultural enrichment. She explored renowned museums and delved into the mysteries of ancient archaeological sites, always accompanied by expert guides who unveiled the profound depths of history and culture in ways few others could ever dream of experiencing. This rigorous and indulgent upbringing honed Pamela into a young woman of remarkable sophistication, fully conscious of the profound power and influence her privileged social and intellectual position bestowed upon her. Yet the trajectory of Pamela's life took a dramatic and heart-wrenching turn on her 20th birthday. It was an autumn morning filled with the crisp, invigorating air of changing seasons, the leaves swirling in a dance of vibrant colors as she eagerly prepared for a video conference with her parents, who were on an extensive business trip across Europe. Pamela anticipated the usual updates about her father's latest industrial acquisitions and the strategic plans for the future, discussions that had become a cherished ritual as Richard groomed her for her eventual role in the family legacy. As she waited with bated breath, the laptop screen flickered to life, ready for the scheduled call. However, instead of the comforting and familiar sight of her parents' warm, smiling faces, the screen remained ominously static. The room was filled with the dissonant sound of an unanswered call, a haunting echo that seemed to underscore the sudden and painful rupture of the life she had always known. This unsettling moment marked the end of an era, leaving Pamela to grapple with the profound emptiness that followed. Pamela Hartford, overwhelmed with an unsettling sense of dread, made another desperate attempt to connect with her parents. The silence persisted, its oppressive weight growing heavier with each passing moment. "This is so incredibly strange," she murmured to herself, her voice laced with anxiety. The once comforting ambience of the mansion now seemed alien, magnifying her fears and creating an atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. The clock ticked away, each second stretching into an excruciatingly long period of uncertainty, amplifying her growing distress. Then, with a jarring clang, the doorbell rang, slicing through the silence with an almost cruel abruptness. Pamela moved with a sense of urgency down the grand staircase, her footsteps echoing ominously through the vast, cavernous hallways of the mansion. She reached the entrance to find the family lawyer, accompanied by two executives from her father's company, their faces etched with deep lines of concern and foreboding. Their solemn demeanor seemed to herald the arrival of tragic news, sending a shiver down her spine. Pamela the lawyer began, his voice quivering in a manner she had never heard before, laden with sorrow that seemed to choke his words. "I'm deeply sorry to have to tell you this, but there's been a terrible accident. The plane carrying your father and mother. There were no survivors." The gravity of his words crashed down on Pamela like a torrential wave, squeezing the breath from her lungs and rendering her momentarily speechless. The shock was immediate and overwhelming, leaving her struggling to process the crushing reality. She leaned heavily against the doorframe, her legs trembling and unable to bear her weight. This can't be happening," she whispered, her voice a fragile thread of disbelief and denial. "We had so many dreams, so many plans. They can't just be gone like this." In that heart-wrenching instant, the world Pamela had known her secure future, the boundless possibilities she had envisioned alongside her parents collapsed into a void of unimaginable grief. She stood on the edge of an abyss, not only grappling with the profound and personal loss, but also confronting the monumental task of managing the Hartford industrial empire, now thrust upon her young and unprepared shoulders. The days that followed were a blur of grief and bewildering responsibility. The once vibrant mansion, filled with the joyous echoes of her parents' laughter and the lively hum of daily life, now lay silent and somber, its emptiness accentuated by the hushed conversations of the servants and the solitary sound of Pamela's footsteps reverberating through its grand, empty corridors. The weight of her new reality was crushing, a seemingly insurmountable sea of responsibilities that she had never anticipated confronting so soon. One particular morning, as Pamela painstakingly sifted through a labyrinth of her father's meticulously organized documents, the sheer complexity of the business operations overwhelmed her. Each document seemed to mock her, highlighting the enormity of the task ahead. "How am I supposed to manage all of this?" she wondered aloud, the weight of uncertainty pressing heavily on her chest. In that moment of despair, a glimmer of hope emerged from her memory. Franklin Morris, her father's trusted right-hand man, and her steadfast friend. Driven by a mixture of desperation and hope, Pamela picked up the phone, her hands trembling as she dialed Franklin's number. His voice answered almost immediately, carrying a tone of calm assurance that contrasted sharply with her turmoil. "Franklin, it's Pamela. I need help. This entire situation is more than I can handle on my own." "Pamela, my dear." Franklin responded with a soothing and empathetic tone. "I was expecting your call. Your father held your capabilities in the highest regard, and I share that belief completely. I'll be there tomorrow. And together we will begin to put everything in order. You are not alone in this. Whatever you need, we will face it together." His words, filled with reassurance and steadfast support, offered Pamela a fragile lifeline amid her overwhelming grief and uncertainty, marking the beginning of a daunting yet hopeful journey toward rebuilding her shattered world. Encouraged by Franklin's unwavering support and the glimmer of hope it inspired, Pamela felt a renewed sense of purpose. The following day, Franklin arrived at the Hartford mansion with a folder brimming with crucial documents and an attitude of determined resolve. He entered the library, a space once vibrant with her father Richard's strategic discussions and careful review of contracts, and set up a command center for their new beginning. Let's start by taking a comprehensive look at the core areas of your business and pinpoint where your involvement is crucial, Franklin suggested, laying out a detailed chart that outlined the various sectors of the Hartford empire. I'll be with you at every turn, Pamela. Together we will honor your parents' legacy and ensure that their vision endures. Under Franklin's meticulous guidance, Pamela began to unravel the intricate web of Hartford's business operations. Each day unfolded like an intensive master's class in business management and leadership. They spent countless hours in the company's imposing conference room, a space that echoed with the weight of important decisions. Franklin, with his deep reservoir of knowledge and experience, meticulously explained the subtleties of financial reports, the art of crafting effective marketing strategies, and the complexities of navigating international negotiations. Pamela, look here, Franklin said, pointing to a detailed growth projection chart. Each decision we make has to be strategically calculated, not just to maximize immediate profits, but to secure the company's long-term sustainability. His gaze was steady and filled with encouragement. Your father had an unparalleled knack for this, and I see that you have inherited that same instinct. Initially, Pamela struggled with her new responsibilities, her confidence wavering as she grappled with the vastness of her inherited role. But Franklin's words, coupled with her own growing understanding, began to fortify her resolve. Each mentoring session was a step towards mastery, and with every challenge she overcame, her confidence grew. Franklin, how can I be sure we're steering the company in the right direction? Pamela inquired during one of their in-depth meetings, her pen poised over an investment report that seemed to hold the weight of her new responsibilities. Trust your instincts, Pamela, Franklin advised, offering an encouraging smile. Ask the right questions and never stop seeking clarity. You are already thinking like a seasoned CEO. And remember, transparency and ethical practices are just as vital as the numbers. Your father held those principles in the highest regard. Inspired by Franklin's sagacity and driven by the enduring legacy of her father, Pamela began to infuse her innovative ideas into the company's operations. She introduced cutting-edge technologies and championed sustainable practices, which not only enhanced production efficiency, but also bolstered the company's market reputation. Her bold yet calculated initiatives began to bear fruit. Under her leadership, the Hartford empire ventured into new markets, achieving unprecedented levels of profitability and growth. Pamela's journey from grief to empowerment was marked by her growing ability to lead with vision and integrity. As she navigated the complexities of her role, she did so with a newfound sense of confidence and a commitment to honoring her parents' remarkable legacy, steering the Hartford empire towards a future defined by both innovation and ethical leadership. The respect Pamela had earned in the business world was tangible and profound. Initially, many had harbored doubts about her youth and lack of experience. Yet, as time went on, her exceptional vision and unwavering determination won them over. Her leadership style, marked by both innovation and integrity, turned skepticism into admiration. "You're truly proving to be an outstanding leader," Pamela Franklin remarked during one of their quarterly reviews, his voice imbued with genuine admiration. "Your father would have been incredibly proud." On a drizzly autumn day, the usual hum of activity at Hartford Industries was punctuated by a new development: the arrival of a candidate for a critical strategic role within the company. Albert Simmons, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit with a sleek leather briefcase in hand, entered the grand lobby with an air of assured professionalism. His presence immediately commanded attention. At the reception desk, he greeted the receptionist with a confident smile and a firm handshake. "Good morning. I'm Albert Simmons, here for my interview with Mr. Franklin Morris, he announced, his voice clear and purposeful. Of course, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Morris is expecting you. Please follow me, the receptionist replied, guiding him through the expansive corridors lined with portraits of the company's founders and accolades. Each step he took resonated with the weight of the company's storied history. When they reached Franklin's office, Albert paused to straighten his jacket, took a deep breath to compose himself, and knocked gently on the door. Come in, came Franklin's warm and welcoming voice from within. As Albert entered, Franklin rose from his chair, his face breaking into a friendly smile. Mr. Simmons, it's a pleasure to meet you in person, Franklin said, extending his hand. Please have a seat, he gestured to a chair positioned in front of his desk. I've reviewed your resume and I must say, I'm quite impressed. I'd like to hear more about your background and how you envision contributing to our company. As the interview progressed, Franklin meticulously examined Albert's resume. However, his attention was momentarily diverted by a question from the candidate. Albert, displaying genuine interest, pointed to a grand painting hanging prominently on the office wall. The artwork depicted Richard Hartford and his daughter Pamela at a glamorous company gala, their figures exuding the elegance and charisma of the Hartford legacy. If I may ask, Albert said with respectful curiosity, who are the individuals in this painting? They seem to be of great significance to the company. Franklin's eyes followed Albert's gaze, and a soft, nostalgic smile touched his lips as he spoke. Ah, that's Richard Hartford, the founder of our company. And next to him is his daughter, Pamela Hartford. Richard unfortunately passed away some time ago in a tragic accident. Since then, Pamela has taken the helm of the company and has been leading it with remarkable skill and dedication. She's transformed the company, honoring her father's legacy while steering it toward a new and promising future. As Franklin spoke, his tone reflected not just respect but a deep sense of pride and reverence for Pamela's achievements and the enduring impact of her father's vision. The narrative of Richard and Pamela Hartford was one of resilience, dedication, and a legacy that continued to shape the future of Hartford Industries. Albert nodded with a blend of understanding and respect. I'm sorry to hear about Mr. Hartford's passing. Stepping into the shoes of such esteemed leadership is undoubtedly challenging, but it seems Pamela is more than capable of meeting the task. Indeed, Pamela has demonstrated extraordinary leadership, Franklin responded, his confidence in Albert's potential growing. Now, let's delve further. I'm interested in learning more about your leadership strategies and how you approach challenges in high-pressure situations. As the interview progressed, the discussion expanded into management strategies and innovation. Albert spoke with a palpable enthusiasm, his insights revealing a depth of experience and creativity. Franklin's admiration grew as Albert articulated his approaches to problem solving and his knack for generating innovative solutions to intricate challenges. After the interview, Franklin extended his hand in a gesture of conclusion and approval. Albert, your background and vision align seamlessly with the values and aspirations of Hartford Industries. I'm excited about the prospect of you joining our team as an analyst. Albert accepted Franklin's handshake with a warm and grateful smile. I'm truly honored, Mr. Morris. I'm eager to contribute my skills and grow alongside the company. The interview's closing marked the beginning of a promising new chapter for Albert at Hartford Industries. He swiftly acclimated to the fast-paced and dynamic environment of the company, demonstrating his competency and innovative spirit. His influence was felt almost immediately as he took charge of challenging projects with a blend of technical acumen and strategic foresight. In a key team meeting, attended by managers and directors, Albert presented a comprehensive analysis of a new project designed to enhance production efficiency and significantly cut costs. His presentation was thorough and compelling, supported by meticulously prepared charts and data. Based on our current capabilities and leveraging the latest data analysis, Albert explained with confidence, we can restructure our operations to boost production while maintaining high-quality standards. What began as skepticism among his colleagues swiftly transformed into endorsement as they reviewed the data Albert presented. Pamela, who had observed the presentation, was particularly impressed. After the meeting, she approached Albert with a look of genuine admiration. "Albert, your work today was outstanding," Pamela said, her voice filled with approval. "I'm truly impressed with how you've dissected our processes and introduced such innovative solutions." "Thank you, Pamela," Albert replied, his tone reflecting his sincere commitment. "I'm here to make a meaningful impact and help the company reach new heights. I have a strong belief in the potential of our team and in what we can achieve together." With this exchange, the foundation of a collaborative and respectful working relationship was established. Albert's fresh perspectives and dedication began to reshape the company's operations, marking the start of a transformative phase for Hartford Industries. As the months unfolded, Albert's performance continued to impress, establishing him as a linchpin of Hartford Industries. His name became a byword for efficiency and innovation within the company. Albert's work ethic was nothing short of exemplary. He was often the first to arrive in the office and the last to leave, embodying a level of commitment that inspired his colleagues. His interpersonal skills were equally remarkable. Albert had a unique ability to motivate his team, striking a perfect balance between demanding excellence and providing encouragement. "You've truly infused the team with new energy," Albert Franklin remarked during one of their regular discussions. "Your leadership is evident, and it's resonating throughout your department." With accolades pouring in from various quarters and his reputation soaring, Albert solidified his standing as a cornerstone of Hartford Industries. His advancement was a direct testament to his relentless dedication, adept skills, and perhaps most importantly, his remarkable ability to turn challenges into opportunities for growth and innovation. As Albert established himself further within the company, his relationship with Pamela began to evolve in a natural and meaningful way. What started as strictly professional interactions gradually blossomed into more personal conversations and shared experiences beyond the confines of their office walls. One sunny afternoon, while they reviewed the progress of a new project amidst the tranquil beauty of the company's garden, Pamela remarked, "Albert, it's truly refreshing to witness someone with such dedication and enthusiasm for their work. Your fresh perspective is genuinely propelling the company forward." Albert's face brightened with a sincere smile. "Thank you, Pamela. Working here is a great pleasure, and collaborating with you has been particularly rewarding. I find I learn something new every day." These interactions became increasingly frequent, erasing the formal barriers that had once defined their relationship and paving the way for authentic camaraderie. During a corporate event, as they delved into discussions about the future strategies for Hartford Industries, Pamela and Albert discovered a shared passion for contemporary art. "I didn't realize you were also an admirer of modern art," Pamela said, her surprise evident as they discussed a recent exhibition they had both attended separately. Albert chuckled warmly. "Yes, it's one of my passions. I believe art has much to teach us about innovation and perspective concepts we can apply to our work here." Their mutual interest in art became a symbol of their growing rapport. Conversations that began with business and strategy evolved into exchanges about creativity and personal interests, deepening their connection. This newfound friendship not only enriched their professional interactions, but also contributed to a more collaborative and inspiring work environment at Hartford Industries. As the months rolled by, the bond between Pamela and Albert deepened, evolving from professional interactions into a profound and heartfelt friendship. What began as routine business lunches gradually transformed into intimate dinners where they shared not just professional insights, but also personal stories, laughter, and dreams for the future. Their relationship blossomed into one of mutual support, anchoring them both through the trials and triumphs of their professional lives. "You've become such a true friend," Pamela confessed one afternoon over coffee, her voice tinged with genuine gratitude. "I honestly don't know how I would have navigated some of these recent challenges without your unwavering support." Albert, his smile warm and sincere, responded, "The feeling is entirely mutual, Pamela. I'm here for you, both in the professional realm and beyond. Whatever you need, you can count on me." Their growing friendship not only enriched their personal lives, but also enhanced their work dynamic at Hartford Industries. The synergy they developed positively impacted the company, fostering a more collaborative and supportive work environment. In conversations that began with business strategies often meandered into more personal realms, creating a richer and more holistic connection between them. One such moment occurred during a quiet break when Pamela, always intrigued by the underlying motivations of those around her, asked Albert with genuine curiosity, "Albert, you've always demonstrated such incredible dedication and passion for your work. What drives you to be so committed?" Albert took a moment to gather his thoughts, his gaze drifting as he delved into the memories that shaped his dedication. "My inspiration," he began, his voice carrying a note of melancholy, "comes from a very painful chapter in my life. My father was a highly respected businessman, someone I looked up to immensely, but his career was tragically derailed by a devastating swindle." Pamela's heart ached as she listened. "That sounds truly awful," she murmured. Albert nodded, the sorrow still palpable in his eyes. "It was a crushing blow for our family. The loss was too much for my father to bear. He turned to alcohol to cope, and it ultimately consumed him. Watching that unfold was profoundly heartbreaking." Pamela reached out, placing a comforting hand on Albert's arm. "I'm so sorry, Albert. I can't imagine how difficult that must have been." Albert sighed deeply before continuing. "Since then, I made a vow to myself. I promised to be the businessman my father could no longer be. I want to honor his memory by rebuilding the legacy he lost." Albert's candid revelation about the deep-seated pain of his past and his heartfelt motivations resonated deeply with Pamela. As they walked back toward the main building, the setting sun bathed the sky in hues of orange and purple, casting a warm glow over their surroundings. The weight of their conversation lingered between them, weaving an even stronger and more personal connection. Pamela, reflecting on Albert's profound story, felt a newfound depth in their relationship. The personal and professional lines blurred, leaving them with a shared sense of purpose and understanding that strengthened their bond in unexpected and meaningful ways. The air in the gallery was thick with emotion as Albert, on a bent knee, presented the small velvet box to Pamela. The soft glow of the chandelier cast a romantic light across the room, illuminating the artworks that seemed to echo their shared journey and affection. "Pamela," Albert began, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "from the moment we started working together, I've admired your strength, dedication, and kindness. But as we've shared our lives and dreams, I've come to realize that what I feel for you goes far beyond admiration. You've become the most important person in my life." He opened the box to reveal a beautiful ring, its design elegant and timeless, much like their relationship. "I want to build a future with you, to continue sharing our passions and dreams. Pamela, will you marry me?" Pamela's heart raced as tears of joy welled in her eyes. She looked around at the art that had brought them together, the gallery filled with memories of their shared moments. Her voice, trembling with emotion, was clear and heartfelt. "Albert, this is the most beautiful moment. I felt a profound connection with you, one that has grown deeper with every shared experience. Yes, I will marry you." The gallery, with its quiet elegance, seemed to celebrate their union. Albert slipped the ring onto Pamela's finger, and they embraced, their hearts beating in unison. The soft strains of classical music in the background seemed to underscore the significance of the moment. As they pulled away from the embrace, Albert and Pamela shared a tender kiss, sealing their commitment to a future together. The gallery, once a backdrop for their professional achievements and personal revelations, now stood as a testament to their love and the next chapter of their lives. In the months that followed, their relationship continued to thrive, blending their personal and professional lives in a harmonious dance. They supported each other's aspirations and dreams, building a partnership that was as strong as it was loving. Their shared experiences, from their first meeting to their engagement, became a foundation upon which they built their future, enriched by their deep mutual respect and affection. Their story, marked by professional triumphs and personal growth, became a testament to the power of love and dedication. Together, Pamela and Albert faced the future with optimism and excitement, their bond an inspiring example of how love can flourish amidst the challenges of life and work. Albert's dedication to his new role at Hartford Industries and the love he shared with Pamela seemed to embody the culmination of years of struggle and ambition. Yet, hidden beneath the surface of his professional success and personal happiness was a lingering vendetta that he had kept carefully concealed. The photograph of his father served as a haunting reminder of the family's downfall, a reminder that propelled Albert into a relentless pursuit of both redemption and justice. As he stared at the faded image, the intensity of his determination grew stronger. The sense of betrayal he felt towards Richard Hartford lingered like a shadow, clouding his achievements with a personal quest for vindication. Albert had always been meticulous, and his rise within the company was a testament to his skill and perseverance. His influence in Hartford Industries continued to grow, and with each passing day, he seemed to blend more seamlessly into the company's culture. But as he climbed the ranks, he also continued to meticulously investigate the circumstances surrounding the supposed swindle that had decimated his father's career. He had uncovered various threads and inconsistencies in the story he had been told about the collapse of his father's business. The deeper Albert dug, the more convinced he became that the connection between Richard Hartford and his father's misfortune was not as direct as he had initially thought. Yet, his feelings of betrayal and anger remained potent, fueling his need to see justice served. Despite his internal conflict, Albert maintained a facade of professionalism and warmth. His growing bond with Pamela was genuine, and he cherished their life together. Yet the tension of his hidden agenda cast a long shadow over his joy. His frequent moments of reflection in the solitude of his office were filled with the complex emotions of both love and revenge. As the company approached a pivotal expansion project, Albert's role became more crucial. His innovative strategies and leadership were essential to the project's success. Yet the very success he was driving seemed to juxtapose the personal vendetta that simmered beneath the surface. Every achievement and advancement was tinged with the unresolved conflict that continued to drive him. One evening, after a particularly intense day of negotiations, Albert sat with Pamela in their favorite quiet spot at the edge of a serene park. The city lights glittered in the distance, and the gentle rustle of leaves provided a soothing backdrop. Pamela turned to him, her eyes filled with warmth and concern. "Albert, you've been working so hard lately. Is everything okay?" she asked gently. Albert took a deep breath, his mind racing as he grappled with how much to reveal. "Pamela, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice carrying the weight of his internal struggle. "There are things from my past, things I've never fully shared with you, that have been weighing on me." Pamela looked at him with a mixture of curiosity and support. "Whatever it is, we can face it together. You don't have to go through this alone." Albert hesitated, torn between the desire to confide in the person he loved and the fear of the repercussions. "It's about my father and the past," he finally admitted. "I always believed that the collapse of his business was linked to Richard Hartford. I've spent years trying to piece together what happened, And now, working here, I felt this conflict between what I want and the reality of my present. Pamela listened intently, her eyes filled with understanding and compassion. I had no idea you carried such a burden. It must be incredibly difficult to balance your past with your present. Albert nodded, tears welling in his eyes. It is. I've worked so hard to build something from the ashes of that past, but the unresolved anger and need for justice have always been there. I'm afraid it's affecting everything, including our future. Pamela reached out and took his hand, squeezing it gently. Albert, you need to find a way to reconcile these feelings. It's important for both of us that you find peace. Maybe seeking closure, whatever form that takes, could help you move forward. Her words resonated deeply with Albert. He realized that to fully embrace his future with Pamela, he would need to confront the unresolved aspects of his past and seek a way to release the anger that had long driven him. It was clear that the journey ahead would require not only professional achievements but also a profound personal reconciliation. In the days that followed, Albert made strides in addressing his inner turmoil. He continued his work at Hartford Industries with dedication but began to explore ways to resolve his lingering resentment. His conversations with Pamela became a source of strength and clarity, guiding him as he navigated the complex emotions that had long been a part of his life. Together, Pamela and Albert faced the challenges of their journey, not only as partners in business, but also as life partners committed to healing and growth. Their love and shared resolve became a foundation upon which they could build a future free from the shadows of the past. The mounting pressure of Albert's dual life began to weigh heavily on him, straining both his personal and professional relationships. His interactions with Pamela, once filled with warmth and joy, now carried subtle undertones of tension and distance. Pamela noticed the changes in Albert's demeanor, his preoccupation with work, the late nights, and the frequent absences. She tried to bridge the growing gap, initiating conversations about their relationship and the future they were building together. Despite her best efforts, Albert struggled to balance his hidden agenda with the demands of his personal life. One evening, as they sat together at the dinner table, Pamela decided to address her concerns directly. The soft glow of the candlelight contrasted sharply with the unease in the room. Albert, I've been feeling like there's something you're not telling me, Pamela began, her voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. We used to talk about everything, but lately you've been distant. I want to understand what's going on. Albert looked down at his plate, wrestling with the choice between honesty and deceit. He had spent so long constructing his facade that it was now difficult to dismantle it without risking everything. He took a deep breath, searching for the right words. I've been under a lot of pressure at work, Albert admitted, his voice low. There's been a lot of responsibility, and I've been trying to manage it all. I'm sorry if it seemed like I'm shutting you out. Pamela's eyes searched his face, looking for a deeper truth. I understand that work can be demanding, but this feels different. It's not just about the job, it's like you're carrying something heavy. Is there anything I can do to help? Albert's resolve faltered. The sincerity in Pamela's voice made him question the choices he had made and the path he was on. Yet the fear of revealing the full extent of his plan held him back. I'm dealing with some personal issues, he said cautiously. But it's nothing that affects us directly. I'll work through it. Pamela nodded, though the concern in her eyes didn't entirely fade. If you ever need to talk or if there's something specific you need, please let me know. I want us to be able to support each other. As Albert navigated the complexities of his double life, he found himself increasingly torn between his quest for revenge and the life he had built with Pamela. His interactions with Edith continued, each conversation reinforcing the dark undertone of his mission. Edith, ever eager to push the plan forward, frequently called with updates and reminders. One afternoon, while discussing the latest developments, Edith's voice crackled with urgency. "Albert, I've heard some new information that might change our strategy. We need to reassess our approach." Albert's mind raced, trying to reconcile this new information with his existing plan. "What's the update?" he asked, his voice steady despite the churn of anxiety in his chest. "There's a potential vulnerability we can exploit," Edith explained. "But it requires a more aggressive approach. We need to act soon to take advantage of this opportunity." Albert's heart pounded as he weighed the implications. The decision to escalate the plan would not only deepen his commitment to revenge but also increase the risk of exposure and personal fallout. Meanwhile, Pamela's concern continued to grow. One evening, as they shared a quiet dinner at home, she decided to take a different approach. "Albert, I've been thinking about us. Maybe we should take a short trip together just to reconnect and get away from everything for a bit." Albert looked at her, the idea both tempting and daunting. The prospect of a break from his schemes was appealing, but he was also aware of the timing and the implications it could have on his plan. "That sounds like a good idea," Albert replied, trying to sound enthusiastic. "Where do you have in mind?" Pamela suggested a tranquil retreat in the countryside, a place known for its serene atmosphere and picturesque landscapes. Albert agreed, sensing that this could be an opportunity to reflect and perhaps find a way to resolve the internal conflict that had begun to affect his marriage. As they prepared for the trip, Albert's mind was a swirl of conflicting emotions. The journey ahead promised both a temporary escape and a critical juncture in his life. He needed to decide whether to continue down the path of revenge or to find a way to reconcile his past with his present, ultimately determining the future of his relationship with Pamela and his sense of self. Albert's heart pounded as he faced Pamela's piercing gaze, realizing that the weight of his secretive behavior had finally reached a breaking point. The rain outside seemed to echo the turbulence within him, the steady patter on the windows amplifying the tension in the room. "Pamela," Albert began, his voice trembling slightly despite his effort to stay composed, "I know I've been distant, and I understand your frustration. But this isn't about you or us. It's about something I need to sort out for myself." Pamela's eyes filled with tears, reflecting a deep pain and confusion. "Albert, I love you and I want to support you, but I can't help if I don't understand what's happening. If there's something wrong, please tell me. I need to know if we have a chance to fix this, or if we're just drifting apart." Albert felt a pang of guilt as he looked at Pamela, realizing how his actions had hurt the person he cared about most. The internal conflict between his pursuit of revenge and his commitment to Pamela grew more intense. He knew that revealing the full truth would not only jeopardize his plans but also shatter the trust he had with her. Albert hesitated, struggling to find the right words. "There are things I'm dealing with that are beyond the usual work stress. It's complicated, and I'm trying to find a way to make everything right." Pamela's voice softened but remained resolute. "Albert, if you can't be honest with me, then what's left between us? I'm asking you to trust me enough to share your struggles. We need to be a team, especially when things are tough." Albert's resolve began to waver under Pamela's earnest plea. He took a deep breath, knowing that he could no longer keep his dual life hidden. "Pamela, there's something I need to tell you," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "I've been working on something that involves more than just business. It's about a personal vendetta, and it's taking over my life." Pamela's eyes widened with shock and hurt. "A vendetta? Albert, what are you talking about?" Albert's voice cracked as he continued. "Years ago, my father was betrayed by someone at Hartford Industries. It ruined him, and I've been trying to make things right by exposing the truth and restoring what was lost." Pamela listened, her emotions a mix of disbelief and empathy. "I had no idea you were carrying this burden. But using our relationship as a cover for this plan, it's not right, Albert. We need to confront this together, or it will destroy us." Albert nodded, tears welling up in his eyes. I realize now that I've let my desire for revenge cloud everything. I never meant to push you away, Pamela. I'm so sorry. The weight of his confession seemed to lift slightly, though the path forward was unclear. Pamela reached out and took his hand, her trembling. We need to figure out what's next for us. I need time to process this, and I need you to be honest with me from now on. Albert agreed, understanding that rebuilding trust would be a long and challenging process. As the rain continued to fall, the couple sat together in silence, reflecting on the enormity of what lay ahead. The road to reconciliation would be difficult, but Albert knew that facing his past honestly was the first step toward healing their relationship. As days passed, Albert began to distance himself from his revenge-driven plans, focusing on mending his relationship with Pamela. He continued to work at Hartford Industries, but sought to integrate honesty and transparency into his life, both personally and professionally. Pamela, though deeply hurt, was willing to work through the challenges with him, valuing the possibility of rebuilding their relationship over the pain of his betrayal. Together, they embarked on a journey of rediscovery and healing, aiming to restore the connection that had once been their greatest strength. Though the path was uncertain, they were committed to facing the future as a united front, hoping that the love they shared could guide them through the complexities of their renewed relationship. As the wine flowed and the initial tension eased, Pamela's guarded demeanor softened slightly. She looked at Albert, who was trying hard to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. Albert, I appreciate the gesture and the time you took to think things over. She began, her voice still tinged with wariness. But it's going to take more than just words and wine to fix what's broken. Albert nodded, understanding her point. I know, Pamela, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I've been reflecting on everything and realized how much I've hurt you. My actions were driven by my issues, but that doesn't excuse the pain I've caused you. Pamela took a deep breath, her eyes searching his for genuine remorse. It's not just about what you've done, Albert. It's about the trust that's been shattered. We need to address the underlying issues if we're going to move forward. Albert looked away for a moment, feeling the weight of her words. I understand. I'll be honest with you from now on. I'm committed to making things right between us, even if it takes time. They spent the evening talking and discussing their feelings and concerns. Albert began to open up more, sharing fragments of the stress and conflicts that had been occupying his mind, though he still withheld the full extent of his revenge-driven motives. Pamela listened, trying to gauge the truth behind his words. I want to believe you, Albert, Pamela said softly, her voice wavering. But we need to rebuild our trust from the ground up. Actions speak louder than words. Are you prepared to take concrete steps to show that you're committed to our relationship? Albert met her gaze with a resolute expression. I am. I'll prove it to you through my actions. I'm willing to seek help if it means working through this and rebuilding what we had. Pamela appreciated his willingness to seek help, though her heart was still heavy with doubt. Seeking help is a good start, but we'll need to see consistent effort. I need to see that you're prioritizing our relationship and not letting other issues consume you. Albert agreed, promising to take active steps to address both his personal and professional issues. He understood that rebuilding trust would be a long journey, but he was determined to start making amends. Over the next few weeks, Albert made genuine efforts to change his behavior. He attended counseling sessions and began to prioritize his relationship with Pamela, showing through his actions that he was committed to their marriage. Pamela, though cautious, started to see signs of progress. She appreciated the effort and the small steps he was taking to mend their bond. Their relationship began to show signs of recovery as they attended couples therapy together, worked on improving their communication, and found new ways to connect and support each other. The road to healing was not smooth, but Albert and Pamela were both committed to navigating it together, hopeful that their shared love and dedication could help them rebuild the trust and intimacy that had been damaged. Pamela, wrapped in the comforting embrace of her drink and the gentle, reassuring cadence of Albert's voice, found herself tentatively entertaining the notion of reconciliation. "Perhaps we might consider a fresh start," she proposed, her voice now tender and imbued with a fragile hopefulness. Her tone, laced with vulnerability, reflected her deep yearning for a new beginning. Albert's nod seemed to signal agreement, yet his mind was a whirlwind of intricate plans and strategies that Pamela could scarcely fathom. As Pamela's recovery unfolded, Bo was steadfastly by her side, offering invaluable logistical and emotional support. They had become an improbable duo, bound by destiny to confront the grave injustice that had nearly claimed Pamela's life. Their bond, forged in the crucible of adversity, was a testament to their resilience and unwavering commitment to justice. After enduring several days under Victor's meticulous care and Bo's unflagging encouragement, Pamela's strength began to resurface, fueling her resolve to take decisive action. Seated at the unpretentious kitchen table in the quaint cabin, she reached for the cell phone Victor had thoughtfully arranged for her. Her fingers trembled slightly as she dialed a familiar number, her heart pounding with a mixture of trepidation and determination. The phone rang several times before Franklin's voice, tinged with the enduring sorrow of Pamela's presumed death, broke through the line. "Hello, who is this?" "Franklin, it's me, Pamela," she answered, her voice a fragile whisper, yet unmistakably resolute. A stunned silence lingered on the other end before Franklin's voice, quivering with shock and profound emotion, responded. "Pamela, oh my God, is it truly you? How is this even possible?" Pamela exhaled deeply, her heart a turbulent sea of relief and apprehension as she heard the voice of a long-lost friend. "Yes, Franklin, it's me. I'm alive, but the situation is far more complicated than you can imagine. I didn't die at the funeral. It was all an elaborate deception orchestrated by Albert. He attempted to kill me." Franklin, grappling with the gravity of the revelation, spoke with urgency. "Pamela, this is unbelievable. We must act swiftly. I need to see you. We should go to the police immediately." "No, Franklin, not yet," Pamela interjected quickly, her voice laced with urgency. "I need you to keep this confidential for the time being. There's much more at stake than you realize. I overheard Albert at the funeral discussing how this was a form of retribution against my father. I need time to unravel everything and strategize our next move." There was a moment of silence, and then Franklin's voice emerged, calm yet imbued with a steely resolve. "I understand, Pamela. You have my unwavering support. Just let me know what needs to be done, and consider it taken care of." "Thank you, Franklin," Pamela replied, her voice a mixture of relief and resolve. "For now, please keep this information strictly confidential. I'm safe and have the support I need here. I'll be in touch soon to update you and potentially ask for your help in bringing everything to light. In the meantime, manage things at the company and ensure Albert remains unaware of anything amiss." "You can rely on me for everything, Pamela. Take care and let me know the moment you need anything," Franklin assured her, his voice firm with a promise of loyalty and unwavering support. As Pamela ended the call, a profound sense of gratitude washed over her. Despite the trials ahead, the knowledge that she had friends like Franklin, Victor, and Bo, people she could trust, was a beacon of hope. The road before her was fraught with peril, but with such steadfast allies, she felt emboldened to confront the looming challenges. Revitalized and resolute, Pamela was ready to take the next crucial step in her quest for justice. Seated at the modest kitchen table with Bo and Victor, her champions and fellow conspirators, she began to outline her strategy with meticulous care. "I need concrete evidence of Albert's machinations and all his nefarious plans against me," Pamela stated, her eyes focused intently on the notebook Victor had provided. To do that, I need access to his communications, emails, text messages, everything. Victor, noting the determination etched on her face, offered a solution. I know someone who could assist an old friend from university who specializes in cybersecurity. If you think it would be beneficial, I can reach out to him. Pamela's face lit up with gratitude. Please do. The sooner we can secure this information, the better. Victor promptly excused himself to make the call, ensuring privacy and security in their preparations. Moments later, he returned with encouraging news. He's agreed to help, Pamela, Victor said. He's ready to start as soon as you provide him with the necessary details. With technical support secured, Pamela refocused her attention on her allies. Once we have access to Albert's communications, we must meticulously review everything. Each message, every call could be pivotal in exposing not only his attempt on my life, but also any other illegal activities he may have been involved in. In the days that followed, the hacker Victor had enlisted delved into the intricate labyrinth of Albert's digital existence with relentless precision. Pamela waited anxiously for each update, her heart a turbulent mix of dread and anticipation. Every discovery brought her closer to the elusive justice she so desperately sought. With each new revelation, Pamela's emotions swung between profound relief and seething outrage. The compromising messages and incriminating call logs she received unveiled the full extent of Albert's treachery. This growing trove of evidence armed her with the crucial ammunition she needed for her impending showdown. The knowledge that she now possessed undeniable proof of Albert's malevolent schemes fortified her resolve to protect herself and ensure he faced the reckoning his actions so richly deserved. While Pamela meticulously orchestrated her plans for retribution and assembled the damning evidence against Albert, an extravagant spectacle unfolded at the Hartford Industries headquarters. The grand event was meticulously designed to celebrate Albert's ascension to the presidency of the company, a symbolic transfer of power following the tragic and purported demise of Pamela. The venue was transformed into a lavish wonderland, adorned with opulent lighting and the strains of live music that filled the air with an aura of sophistication and festivity. The main hall was packed with high-ranking executives, influential stakeholders, and media personalities, all gathered to witness and partake in this momentous occasion. The ambience was charged with celebratory fervor, tempered by a palpable sense of anticipation as everyone eagerly awaited to see how Albert would steer the company into its new era. Among the glittering throng, Edith stood out, radiantly dressed and exuding a magnetic confidence. She navigated the crowd with a glass of champagne in hand, her role at the party extending far beyond that of a mere guest. As Albert's confidante and co-conspirator, she was intimately aware of the dark underpinnings of his rise to power. Her participation in the conspiracy against Pamela was motivated by promises of personal gain, and she moved through the party with an air of self-satisfaction, fully expecting to benefit from Albert's new position. Albert is finally where he belongs, Edith murmured to a select group of influential executives, her voice dripping with conspiratorial excitement. Now we can truly start reshaping the future of this company. As the music swelled and congratulatory speeches resonated throughout the hall, Albert prepared to deliver his acceptance address. He took to the stage with a charismatic smile, ready to cement his role as the leader of Hartford Industries. His speech was a carefully crafted blend of promises and visionary rhetoric. Yet beneath the veneer of optimism lay the shadowy truth of his ascent, a truth that Pamela was determined to expose. During the highly anticipated inauguration ceremony at Hartford Industries, one of the most eagerly awaited segments was the traditional video presentation. These videos were meticulously crafted to showcase the journeys of employees who had risen to leadership roles within the company. They celebrated their remarkable contributions and inspiring paths, serving both as a tribute to their dedication and as motivation for others to follow in their footsteps. As the party continued, the guests gathered expectantly before the large screen, eager to view the video that would commemorate Albert's ascent to the presidency. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as the lights dimmed, casting a soft glow on the screen. What was meant to be a moment of celebration quickly spiraled into utter disbelief and horror. Instead of the inspiring images and achievements of Albert's career, the video played a series of incriminating recordings. Albert's voice, unmistakable and chilling, filled the room as he conversed with Edith. Their discussion revealed their sinister plans, including the plot to eliminate Pamela to secure Albert's hold on power. "Are you certain this will work?" Edith's voice crackled with anxiety and collusion. "Don't worry, everything is meticulously planned. Once she's out of the picture, the company will be ours," Albert's voice replied with icy calculation. A stunned silence enveloped the room, as every eye fixed on Albert, who was now visibly pallid and shaken. The guests' faces morphed from initial confusion to shock and righteous anger. Whispers of outrage and disapproval rippled through the crowd, each murmur adding to the mounting tension. With his betrayal and attempted murder now laid bare for all to see, Albert frantically tried to salvage the situation. Still on stage, he struggled to compose himself and offer an explanation. This must be some twisted joke," he stammered, his voice quivering under the weight of the damning evidence. "I understand this looks shocking," he continued, desperately trying to persuade the audience that the recordings had been falsified. "Someone must have manipulated these recordings to frame me. I would never engage in such despicable acts." Amid the mounting chaos and Albert's futile attempts to explain, a dramatic shift captured everyone's attention. The grand hall's double doors swung open with a forceful bang, drawing the collective gaze of the stunned crowd. Pamela, presumed dead and now very much alive, strode into the room with a resolute and commanding presence. The guests, who moments earlier had been engrossed in the shocking video, now turned in unified astonishment and disbelief. Pamela, resplendently dressed yet radiating a seriousness that cut through the opulence of the setting, walked confidently down the center aisle. Her every step amplified the dramatic tension, as the crowd's shock and disbelief turned into an electrifying hush. Albert, his face drained of color and his composure shattered by Pamela's unexpected appearance, stuttered in a futile attempt to explain his actions. "Pamela, is it truly you? This must be a misunderstanding. I can explain everything," he began, his voice faltering as he reached out towards her, his hands visibly trembling with the weight of his crumbling world. Pamela, with an air of unshakable authority, raised a hand to silence Albert, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "There is nothing left to explain, Albert," she declared, her words reverberating through the grand hall. "The recordings speak for themselves, and your sinister plot to eliminate me has been exposed for all to see." A wave of shocked murmurs rippled through the crowd, growing in intensity as the truth of Albert's treachery settled over them. The guests began to physically distance themselves from Albert, as if recoiling from the stench of his unveiled deceit. Faces that had once shown admiration now reflected horror and disgust. "I am back," Pamela continued, her voice imbued with both authority and profound relief. "I am here to reclaim my rightful place at Hartford Industries. The veil of deceit has been lifted, and there is no room for further betrayal." Edith, who had been an ally in Albert's web of deception, tried to subtly edge away, her face a mask of unease as the fragile structure of lies she had helped construct crumbled before her eyes. Pamela, however, was quick to confront her. Pamela's tone was cold and unforgiving. "Your role in this betrayal will not go unnoticed. The trust I once extended to you has been irrevocably shattered." Pamela's dramatic return upended the balance of power in an instant. As she exposed Albert's betrayal to the stunned crowd, the executives and stakeholders began to reassess their allegiance. The atmosphere shifted palpably, with many aligning themselves with Pamela, acknowledging her as the true leader of the company and recognizing her courage in overcoming an unimaginable ordeal. Albert, his once formidable power unraveling before his eyes, made a final, desperate attempt to salvage his situation. His voice, now tinged with fear and regret, was barely a whisper. "Pamela, please, let's not resolve this here in public. We can sort this out privately, just between the two of us." Pamela regarded him with a mixture of pity and steely determination. "There is nothing left to resolve, Albert. You've made your choices, and now you must face the consequences of your actions." With Pamela's resolute stance, the tide had turned decisively. Albert, who had once reveled in his deceitful triumph, now stood publicly disgraced, his carefully orchestrated plans in ruins thanks to the very person he had sought to destroy. The gathering of executives and guests, initially assembled to celebrate his ascension, now bore witness to his downfall, cementing Pamela's rightful place as the leader of Hartford Industries. In the dramatic, public revelation of the truth, justice was served not through subtle maneuvers but through a clear, decisive confrontation. The rightful order was restored, and those who sought to manipulate and destroy others for their gain were held accountable, ensuring that integrity and honesty would prevail. As we wrap up today's gripping saga of betrayal and redemption, we're left with profound lessons about integrity, resilience, and the power of truth. Pamela's journey from deception to justice highlights the importance of standing firm against betrayal and reclaiming one's rightful place, no matter the odds. The dramatic turn of events at Hartford Industries teaches us about the consequences of deceit and the strength required to confront it head-on. We want to hear from you what has resonated with you the most from this story. What's one key takeaway that you'll carry forward into your own life? Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it insightful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you engaging and thought-provoking content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.